Good morning, Zio here, and today we're talking Square Enix and Forsaken. No, Forspoken. Why do I keep calling it Forsaken? Anyway, Square Enix has done another flop apparently, so grab yourself some coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? Yeah. Oh, so the other day I saw Square Enix trending on the Twitters for the few minutes that I was on Twitter, right? And I had to pose the question to see if anybody would answer it, and somebody did. Why is Square Enix trending? What did they do this time, or any time, or whatever? Anyway, the response was Forspoken. So I was like, all right, that's fine. Let's take a look. What happened here? Apparently, there's this game that's coming out. I saw a trailer for it at some point, completely forgot it existed, and it was for this, right? And apparently, it's by Square Enix. Yeah, and it's apparently really, really bad. So, first off, these are the system requirements for it. This is on PC. I can't run this game. I'm pretty sure my GTX is a 1063 gig, not a 6 gig. Anyway, yeah, so... And I have 8 gigs of RAM, I believe. Yeah, my system is getting quite antiquated at this point. I need a new one. I also need to replace the fan on the, whatchamacallit down there, too. It's starting to go out. But anyway, these specs, whew, that are required just to play the game. Square, what happened? 150 gigs to Chivas. Like, I don't even know where to begin with this. And Windows 11 can go drop dead for all I care. Fuck that shit. Shit, was that too soon? Am I allowed to say fuck yet? Anyway, doesn't matter. So I went to take a look and I checked out Metacritic because, you know, Metacritic is the bastion of everything rating wise and stuff like that. Or at least they want to be. Whatever. I don't care. Anyway, the Metacritic score, you've got your actual critics versus the users, and this is always a good way to tell if something is actually good or not. And usually it's because we fall into this thing where if the critics love it, there's a good chance the normal people will not, and this is no different, right? So they have sort of what feels like a mixed score to me. 67. It's not like super high end awesome, but it's also not super low or anything. Meanwhile, players were sitting at a cool 3.7, and this is for the PlayStation 5 version. All right, and if I got this correct, I think there was a PS4, PS5, and a PC port of this game. Xbox was left off the back burner, and then there are people complaining about that, right? And you know, it is what it is. Exclusives are exclusives. I'm just happy it came to PC because PC Master Race and all that, you know. It gives me a chance to play it. Oh, but anyway, the scores are not doing too hot, and over on the PC side, it's a 2.0. I mean, granted, I don't think a whole lot of people are capable of playing the game just due to the minimum requirements, unless they've gotten a new computer in the past, you know, couple of years, which also could be possible. But yeah, there's several reviews here. Of course, I can't even read that one without sending it through Translate or something. Anything that is a 0, to be totally honest, I usually chalk those up as review bombs. I don't know. You got to read it. Like, if you get a really long one and it actually talks about things in the game, like for instance this one is more believable. But when you get a super short one, like this one right here, that's talking about how it uses Denuvo. Yeah, yeah, it's hard to believe. You know what I'm saying, right? I hate that. I prefer something really long that actually explains bits and pieces of things, talks about the actual flaws, talks about the good, if there is any good, stuff like that, the technical things and stuff like that. Because then it's more believable. Like this 3 is a bit way more believable than this 0 down here talking about Denuvo, right? But anyway, reviews aside. Apparently, running cover is the thing that we're going to do with this game because apparently, I guess people really wanted it to do good. I don't know, but apparently the God of War, or former God of War director, David Scott Jaffe, apparently is blaming a-holes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. The word that usually gets used in that place is racism. You know, one of those, the isms or the phobias, that sort of thing. So I'm surprised he didn't just straight out say that and console war or something, but he didn't. He actually spelled it out. But yeah, he's over here talking about how I have no strong opinion for Forsaken at the moment. Playing the demo, enjoyed it, but not looking to drop $70 on it. Anyways, the pile on has me thinking of this and how I have gotten older. I've realized there's no bad creative output like ever. And then, of course, down here, you know, I'm inches from pulling the trigger on Forsaken. I keep saying Forsaken. Isn't that a Destiny 2 module? Anyway. Forspoken at 70. I don't want to pay 70 for that shit. I will wait for it to go on a Steam sale before I pay that much. Yeah, I'm not a fan of $70 games. Fuck that shit. Coffee. But yeah, part of it is the good stuff I'm hearing from people who are playing it, and the fact I did enjoy the demo. The other part is I want to buy it to spite the a-holes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. There it is, straight out of his own account. Rhyming racism and PlayStation. Consoles, because why not? But yeah, so that's a thing. To be clear, the tropes about black folk and Forspoken are shit plus. Like, top tier shit, is that what we're trying to say? But anyway, they were called out over a year ago and Square did nothing. Which is their right, of course. But I'm talking about the players who are being dicks for no clear reason to, so I assume it is racism plus console war plus misogyny. There it is. He finally says the word. He says the R word. Learn to read human beings. I said one of the reasons I'm buying Forspoken is to spite people for whom them being racist, massage, console wars, or motivating factors in slamming it. If someone plays it and hates it for other reasons, they can articulate fine, that's fair. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It was trending, right? So at that moment in time when I asked the question and started looking into it earlier this week, that's all I got, right? I got people articulating why they didn't care for it, why they didn't like it, the reasons, this, that, and the other, which of course led me to the fact that it had these kind of system requirements, okay? Like, that's the only reason I even knew about the system requirements, is people complaining about that sort of thing. They talking about how the dialogue is shit and everything else, and all this other stuff. So let me play this real quick, since I don't have my headphones in, and let me mute myself for a split second and click.
Destruction and corruption are forms of creation in themselves.
Wow, you sound like a serial killer.
What?
Destruction and corruption are beautiful forms of creation in themselves.
I don't sound like that.
You absolutely sound like that.
No, you absolutely sound like that. Yeah, see? Two can play at that game.
You're fucking stupid.
yeah, I don't have anything to say about that. God damn. Like, really? That's top tier hello. Apparently the other criticism is the main character curses like all the time. If she can, sit in a fuck or something like that, it's all the damn time. And it's just like one of those things like, why? Why do you do that? Like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen people who do that legitimately. Like every other word, it's like you're talking to a sailor without them being an actual sailor. But anyway, yeah. So that's what's going on. If you don't like it, you're a racist or a console war, you're a misogynist for some reason, because people haven't enjoyed things like Samus Aran or Lara Croft or any other female pro tag that has ever existed in the existence of video games or anything. I mean, come on. Can we get past that? Just because somebody doesn't like anything doesn't mean that they're a misogynist. I mean, yeah, you can make the case that they hate it because it's PlayStation exclusive or PlayStation and PC exclusive, not on Xbox. That we can talk about. Right? That one we can deep dive into and go, why do you hate PlayStation so much? I mean, I understand because PlayStation is an inferior console and all the good stuff is over on Xbox for the most part. I mean, minus the exclusives, of course, but when it comes to those, I can technically just get them on the PC one way or another working on my PC. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened. But yeah. Anyway. Square, just do us all a favor and stop making games for Western audiences. Seriously. And I don't mean don't make a game that we can play over here. I'm saying stop making games with them in mind. Right? With us in mind, because almost every single game, any game, actually all games that I can personally think of right now at this particular moment, that was made with us in mind are shit from Square. In fact, they're usually shit from most Japanese companies for the most part. So what's up on the screen right now? This is a list of games that Square Enix has pretty much done. Square Enix has been around since the early 2000s. Square Soft, which is the previous iteration of the company, has been around a bit longer. Let me see if I can bring that, because it doesn't have Squaresoft games in there. Squaresoft games. Let's bring that list up, shall we? A list of Square. Is this Squaresoft? This is Squaresoft, yeah. Looks like Square was a Japanese video company. I think this is it. Yeah, Final Fantasy and stuff, dating back to the 1990s. See, Square did amazing work. What they brought over to the US, of course, kicked off at some point. We'll do this, because all that stuff above there was all Japanese exclusives. And then, of course, Square became Square Soft with a merger and blah, blah, blah. And then we have the company we have today, right? Square, stop making games for the North America audience. Do not make games with them in mind. Make them with Japan in mind, and then fucking port them over, because let me tell you, Square has a ton of fun and interesting looking games that I would love to play. However, they're JP only. That's the problem. They're fucking JP only, when I would love to have at least an English translation, even if it's like Mega Man Battle Network 4 levels of bad translation of the game with subtitles only and no voice acting or something. I would love to have those over on our side, right? Over for us to enjoy. Because there are several games I would love to see that were Japanese only, that came out of Squaresoft as well as other companies, and we just never got a port. But anyway, oh gosh, let's go down here. I'm gonna sneeze. we get down here and we get the multi-releases, right? Japanese, North America, Europe, whatever. The second column here is the US, or the North American market, which technically is the US, right? And yeah, I mean, we get some decent things, right? Yeah, it's whatever. Like Final Fantasy 14, one of the top tier mobiles, one of the top tier MMOs at this particular moment. It wasn't designed with the US audience in mind. It was designed, you know, with the Japanese audience in mind, and utilizing Final Fantasy 11, which was a decent success as well, in mind. You know, when they do things that are not taking into the eastern side of the world, you know, us or whatever. Are we the eastern or the western? I could have been saying this wrong the whole time. I don't know. Because they're technically east of me, but also west of me. I got nothing. Anyway, like, they do make good games. Like Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lines. This right here is by far my favorite. If you were to ask my top #1 favorite game ever, it's this one right here. It's this one. It was made for the PSP, and yes, I have it everywhere. I have it on my Vita, I have it on my PSP, I've got it on my PC, I've got it on one of my Nintendo DS's that, don't ask. Anyway, point is, I've got it in multiple locations, right? One of my favorite games, and this one, the game was not made with us in mind, and that's what Square needs to start doing. Stop thinking of the US market or the North American market or the Europe market or whatnot and making games for them. Instead, make games for the Japanese market and port it over, because those are the best games that they do. Every time that they do one with one of us, with our side in mind, because they're going to capitalize on whatever, it sucks. It really does. So far lately, that is all that has been happening, is just really crappy games with the US market sort of in mind, and it just doesn't go very well, right? Or they're really lazy ports or something, like Chrono Trigger coming onto the PC, which seems to be a port of the mobile version, and I don't know. Anyway, the mobile version, whatever version it came from, it looks like a mobile game. And that's also one of my favorite games. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will talk to you later. See ya.